Here's an interesting 60 Minutes report. I always thought kidnapping was illegal, but I guess it's okay if Bush orders it.
At the age of 19, Murat Kurnaz vanished into America's shadow prison system in the War on Terror. He was from Germany, traveling in Pakistan, and was picked up 3 months after 9/11. But there seemed to be ample evidence that Kurnaz was an innocent man with no connection to terrorism. The FBI thought so, U.S. intelligence thought so, German intelligence agreed. But once he was picked up, Kurnaz found himself in a prison system that required no evidence and answered to no one. The story Kurnaz told us is a rare look inside that clandestine system of justice where the government's own secret files reveal that an innocent man lost his liberty, his dignity, his identity, and ultimately 5 years of his life. We found Murat Kurnaz in Bremen, Germany, where he was born and raised. His parents immigrated here from Turkey. His father works in the Mercedes factory. Kurnaz wasn't particularly religious growing up, but in 2001 he was marrying a Turkish girl who was, and he decided to learn more about Islam.
I didn't know how to pray. I didn't know anything, so I had to study more about Islam so I could go to the mosque and pray.
In Bremen, he met Islamic missionaries who urged him to go to Pakistan for study. As he was planning the trip, 9/11 happened.
It was horrible.
He told us he was horrified by the attacks, had never heard of Al-Qaeda, and he decided to go ahead with his trip anyway.
Did you begin to think that that wasn't a great idea?
Today, I know it wasn't a great idea.
Kurnaz told us his story using the English that he learned from his American guards. If he seems a little distant, reserved, you'll understand why as his story unfolds. It begins in 2001 when he was at the end of that trip to Pakistan. He was headed to the airport to fly home to Germany when his bus was stopped at a routine checkpoint.
They stopped the bus, and because of my color, I'm much more different than the Pakistani guys. So
you're lighter skinned.
Right. He looked into the bus. He came to me to my window and knocked on my window.
He was a Pakistani cop who pulled Kurnaz off the bus. The reason Kurnaz was singled out may always be a mystery, but at the time the U.S. was paying bounties for suspicious foreigners. Kurnaz, who'd been rambling across Pakistan with Islamic pilgrims, seemed to fit the bill. Kurnaz says that he was told that U.S. intelligence had paid $3,000 for him. He ended up bound and shackled on an American military plane.
I was sure as soon as they will find out I'm not a terrorist, they will apologize for it and let me go back home.
But the plane flew him out of Pakistan and to a U.S. base in Kandahar, Afghanistan, where he was mixed with prisoners fresh off the battlefield. The military took this picture as Murat Kurnaz disappeared into the system for terrorists. His new identity was number 53. He was kept in an outdoor pen in sub-freezing weather and interrogated daily.
They asked me where is Osama bin Laden and if I'm from Al-Qaeda or from Taliban. Questions like that. I told them, I don't know where is Osama bin Laden, I never saw him. And I don't know anything about Al-Qaeda, I don't know what it is. And I spent all my time in Pakistan.
What happened next?
I told them just they can call Germany and ask who I am. And they can ask anybody in Germany who I am.
Back in Germany, Bremen police were investigating, and what they were hearing made matters worse. Kurnaz's worried mother told them that her son had recently become more religious, had grown a beard, and was attending a new mosque. Schoolmates said that Kurnaz might have been headed to Afghanistan.
It was just guessing, just a fear, no more. But the fear turns into a fact.
Attorney Bernhard Dacke was hired by Kurnaz's mother. He says there was no reason to suspect Kurnaz knew anything about Al-Qaeda, but this was weeks after 9/11, and some of the hijackers had been living in Hamburg.
And so, close after 9/11 and close after Germany realized that 9/11 started with a Hamburg cell in Germany, everybody in the secret services got crazy.
Dacca says the police report was sent to the Americans, and Kurnaz claims his interrogations at Kandahar turned to torture. He told us that American troops held his head underwater.
They used to beat me when my head is underwater. They beat me into my stomach and...
They were hitting you in the stomach while your head was underwater,
Yes,
so that you'd have to take a breath.
Right. I had to drink. I had to... how you say?
Inhale the water.
I had to inhale the water, right.
Kurnaz says the Americans used a device to shock him with electricity that made his body go numb. And he says he was hoisted up on chains, suspended by his arms from the ceiling of an aircraft hangar for 5 days.
Every 5 or 6 hours they came and pulled me back down. And the doctor came to watch if I can still survive or not. He looked into my eyes, he checked my heart, and when he said okay, then they pulled me back up.
The point of the doctor's visit was not to treat you. It was to see if you could take another 6 hours hanging from the ceiling.
Right.
I suspect that you know that the military will deny that this happened. The U.S. military will deny that you were shocked. It will deny that your head was held in a bucket of water. It will deny that you hung from a ceiling for days at a time.
Doesn't matter whatever they will say. The truth will not change.
And you're telling me in this interview that this is the truth.
This is the truth.